really one of our most important sets of the young season so far. And what I call it is an early season feeding front, and it creates the conditions to come out here in the evening and get a really good sit. All the deer are going to be active and feeding, and I know they're going to be active and feeding because we've had a lot of major changes take place in the weather. And you can look at HuntWise, HuntCast 2.0, but it's the same algorithm and same formula that I've been looking at for 30 years. And it's paid off and true many times over. This is an important sit because it's my second sit in Minnesota on the new land, and that's exciting. So we're in a stand that we had high hopes for, that we hung.
Hawk just flew right behind you.
Hawk? Diane, that's funny. Diane's sitting in another spot. I'm waiting for the phone to ring or something or vibrate for her. And Dylan's right here with his mouth wide open. And I'm thinking Kermit's coming behind me, but it's funny. We have a lot of anticipation tonight. And I want to tell you what you should really focus on these early season feeding fronts. We get these fronts 1 to 2 times a week. Sometimes they even go 7 to 10 days, but they're quite often at least once a week. And what I'm looking for is a temperature reduction. I'm looking for a weather change as far as wind reduction, which we're getting wind reduction tonight. It was up to 24 miles an hour gusts today. And the tree's blowing a little bit right now, but not too bad. So we're looking for that wind change. It doesn't have to go down to 5 miles an hour or 0. In fact, I find when the winds are a little bit higher and more dependable, it seems like deer move better, and we can actually control our scent a lot better too. So I'm looking at wind speed change. It's going to drop from 22 mile an hour, 24 mile an hour gusts down to 12 to 14, maybe even 10 by the time it gets to dark. We had a bunch of rain move through, pretty wet conditions, and most of all, over the last couple days, we've had about a 14 to 15 degree temperature change. So even on the cell cameras, you notice that the deer aren't as active during those windy times. It's not to say the deer aren't out. In fact, there's a lot of movement after dark, but we haven't had daylight movement for a couple days because of this weather. I bet you these deer are hungry. We're looking at, especially as you get later into the season with these feeding fronts, even as it gets into the rut, middle of October, even December, you're looking for major changes then, where deer are literally just about starving. They're hunger pained, they're hitting them hard because they're socked back in their bedding areas. There's a lot of stress and noise. They're missing quality feeding opportunities because they don't want to stand out in the open in the windy nights and rainy nights. They're staying back in the cover, so they're not getting to their normal food sources. And then they're losing energy because of temperature change. It doesn't matter if that temperature changes from 70 to 50 or from 40 to 20. They're burning energy to stay warm. That's what they do. That's why they consume all that corn, especially when it gets colder, and beans, and they're trying to put those carbs on. After all those conditions subside, then it's time to hit the woods. Now I want to mention something about barometric pressure. You don't really have to worry about barometric pressure. Deer only relate to tangibles. The barometric pressure might be low right now because there's another storm and another front coming in 3 days, 2 days, which there is. It might be high because it's going to be blue skies tomorrow and warming up. But bottom line is the deer are going to relate to these changes. Sometimes the barometric pressure reflects those changes and reflects a good day to hunt. Sometimes it gives a false positive, where it's higher, it's warmer, the deer aren't moving as much. So really focus on those tangibles: wind change, moisture change, temperature change, even temperature, major temperatures. We look at least 8 to 10 mile an hour changes. Look at sometimes when you get back into the rut, you're looking at morning to morning, but especially in these early season evening feeding fronts, we're looking at major changes from 4 o'clock to 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock to 3 o'clock. We're looking for those winds to subside, rain to go down, and then deer will be on their feet and hungry. We have Diane sitting around the corner about 600-700 yards away. We're both in stands. We're more interior of our property. We're blowing our scent off this ledge down a really steep face down here. Behind me, almost at my level, we're 24 feet up in the tree. At my level, we have a mock scrape. We have a trail camera that's been showing us great pictures of all kinds of mature bucks throughout the summertime. We haven't checked it lately, but the scrape's open. So we're looking for some good movement. We're probably about 80 to 100 yards off the field edge, the main field edge. It's over to my right, and we call this the upper stand. We have a lower stand all the way down below, about 250 feet in elevation down below. And we're looking for deer to come out of a point behind Dylan or a flat behind me and really cruise through this area on the way out to corn and then alfalfa. We're in between food plots. We're not even in a food plot area. It's a very remote area. and we're blowing our scent into what we feel is a safe area. But we're hunting an early season cold front, early season feeding front, and look for these feeding fronts to take place in a roller coaster fashion every week, twice a week, once a week, all the way through. Our season ended January 31st last year, and we were hunting these feeding fronts and watching deer move to food sources in the evening all the way up until the end of the season. We came in between bedding areas. We're in a nice constriction and funnel of an inside corner of the field. We have a nice bench system that the scrape is on behind us. So we're located in an area where we're hoping to catch a mature buck coming out of a bedding area and moving towards his food source. Or stick back over there. We're gonna get going. I can't wait. We're about 2.5 hours before dark right now, and I need to shut up, sit down, and enjoy the hunt. This is awesome out here right now. Hey, sorry to interrupt this video, but my web class series is finally begun. How to design your whitetail property is on my website, and there's a link in the description. Please check it out. Well, we have an update to the early season feeding front in our hunt tonight. Diane just shot her first bow buck, her first vertical bow buck. She's never even shot one with a crossbow buck, but she shot it. It looks like a really good hit. We've seen some footage of it, but they seem to be in the hot corner tonight. We haven't seen any deer. They saw 4 deer walk by, and then he came in making a scrape, and she is so excited. We can't wait to get to her tonight, and we'll keep you posted. But we're hoping for a tracking job at dark. They're gonna meet us with a Kubota. They're sneaking out, going back home, and this is an awesome night. The early season feeding front paying off for.
Just shot my first bow buck, and we're backing out. It looks like I made a good shot. I'm super excited, and we'll be back later to look for him.
It's a neat point. It's a nice one. Excited, are you?
My first bow buck with Dante.
I know. Yeah, go up there. Just keep going right up to that tree.
I got him. Are you good? Oh,
Well, we talk about early season feeding fronts, bow season, and I said, you know, that it sounded like Diane had some success, and then she hit one, and what do you think, babe?
It was awesome. It was really amazing.
Well, you've been practicing hard with your bow. You know, what's cool is this thing's gone way down in the valley, but it just went straight to its death. It's stiff. We gave it about 2 hours. You could see on the footage that she was coming in high, going down, quartering in, and he ducked the arrow, but the arrow came out perfect on the other side, double lung, and he really opened up the last little bit. But I mean, you tell people, why were we hunting tonight?
The cold, look at the weather, cold front.
Temperature dropped about 15 degrees. The rain went through, and you had the wind in your face tonight. Actually, you hunted out of the redneck.
Yes.
You couldn't wait to hunt.
Dante.
And with Dante. So Dante was filming tonight, and Dylan and I were somewhere else. We saw a buck and a couple does, but
There's my cameraman.
good job, Dante, too. Congratulations.
And happy birthday.
So that's kind of a wrap. Early season,
First bow buck.
first bow buck.
Yes.
How long did you watch him before you shot him?
Maybe a minute.
Yeah.
Not very long.
And it was cool. I saw the footage. He was making a scrape, right? Was he at the apple tree, or was he trying to get an apple? I'm not sure.
I
But
don't know. He was. I think
He
he
was
may have been making a scrape.
well, congratulations, Diane. Congratulations, Dante. It's our first Minnesota buck.
It is. Yes.
Really exciting, and I'm
My
very,
first
very
bow buck.
proud of you. People have followed along, but you've been practicing really hard with the bow, and you helped me put up most of the stands, or a lot of them, and plant food plots, and people see you racing around in the Kubota, smashing buckwheat, and but they don't see you helping me put stands up and bringing up the steps to me and helping with mock scrapes and trail cameras and everything else. So really happy for you, real proud of you. Congratulations. Your first bow buck. Early season feeding fronts. Hope you guys can get on them this October and you know, follow that same pattern all the way out throughout the entire season. Good job, guys.